Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hi. Hi. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
I'm all right too.
Another Wednesday. Here we
It
are.
is another Wednesday. It's the only day of the week I put makeup on.
I know.
At least getting a little faster at putting makeup on again now.
Dude, it took a long time that first live.
To get our makeup right? Yeah, no kidding. It sure did.
So who's
All right.
watching?
Taylor and Sharon. I'm just going to speculate that maybe that's what it is.
Oh, there it
Hey,
is.
there's Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Nice to see you. So welcome again, People Advocates of America Live. I think a lot of folks have started to have to go back to work, which we knew was going to end up happening. Hi, Julie. So we'll see how much longer we're going to do these, or if we're going to change the time on them, or what we're going to do. We are going to be starting a podcast in a few weeks, and that you'll be able to listen to at your leisure, in your car, wherever you want, whatever you're doing. And that is going to be our long-term plan for doing some more advocacy, like how we're doing.
Super excited about it.
Doing right now. Yes, thank you. We're looking good. Looking good.
I feel like she's obligated to say that.
I know. You're such a good mom. Hi, Desi. Thanks for tuning in. Hello to Texas. So we're really happy to have you all here. If you are watching on Facebook and you want to start a watch party, see what other friends you have that are willing to either skip out on work or aren't working or doing whatever it is that they're doing. Don't forget that when you comment during the live show, that you're automatically entered in to win a t-shirt. Like this one.
Yeah. And speaking of t-shirts, Edith Robinson is our winner from last week. So you will be getting contacted shortly.
Yes, yay for Edith.
Yay! And we'll be sending you a shirt. So yeah, just as Michelle said, remember to comment at any time throughout the live stream.
Right.
To be entered to win a t-shirt. And speaking of winning stuff.
Speaking of hellos. Hello to Crystal and hello to yes.
Very awesome. Yes, Agnes, you have won the last week's raffle, which was the coffee stuff. So you got the bags of coffee and the tea and the mugs. And the awesome photo thing. Yeah, which is really cute. So yes, congratulations. You won that. We will be contacting you shortly as well. She's from Chicago, Illinois, which is pretty awesome.
It is.
And then this week's raffle, which runs this week until next week, which I don't remember the date.
The 27th.
Yeah, the 27th of May, which is insane.
Right.
I don't know where May went at all. Anyway, that is a fun gym prize. So gym and more. So it's an awesome Sugar Skull gym bag and some cute Bluetooth headphones, which is pretty awesome. And PBAOA tumblers for when you get thirsty and you're working out at the gym, or working out at home, or in your garage, or wherever you work out these days.
Right.
And then there are some Dean Russo metal wall hangings, which are pretty awesome.
They're very cool.
And then another miscellaneous wall hanging that says "Work hard,
be kind." Yeah, we'll have a picture of that lovely prize up after the show. We've been doing some spring cleaning here and didn't get the picture posted before the show. But if you do go in to buy the raffle tickets, the description is in there for next week's prize. Tickets are
$5 each, or you could get 5 tickets for $20. And then we are also running the monthly raffle, which is the Kate Spade bag. It's a cute little black bag. That picture is in the event somewhere as well. But those tickets are $10 each, and you can continuously buy those throughout the whole rest of the month. And we'll be pulling for that prize the first week in June.
Yes, we will. So we'll get right to it today. We had asked folks for some ideas of what you all liked us to talk about. And last week we talked about encountering people on walks. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about the police, about police officers, and about, I think that the actual question last week was about what we can do to help advocate for pit bull type dogs with police, which is really a seminar in itself, and a pretty big topic that would be hard to talk about in about 20 minutes. So I think that for what we can cover here while we're doing it, I think that the best thing that we have learned in our interaction with Milwaukee police officers here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is that we need to approach these interactions not only with compassion, but with empathy. And when we get around to doing some more people universities and whatnot, we really parse out the difference, because a lot of people think that compassion and empathy are the same thing. But in a nutshell, compassion is when you feel bad for someone. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Amy, by the way, too. When you feel bad for someone for what they're going through. And empathy is really a different beast. And it is when you actually either can on your own, for people who are called empaths, which is quite a burden sometimes. I'm an empath, and I'm pretty much of an empath, and it can be really hard. But what empathy is actually putting yourself into their shoes. So not just feeling bad for what they're going through, but actually trying to feel what they are feeling at a certain time. And there were a lot of scientific studies done for many years. And years ago, they thought that you either were an empath and that's what you had going on in you, or you weren't. But what they've actually learned is that anybody can learn and develop empathy at any point really in their life. So so when we're talking about police officers and how we're thinking about them and how we're thinking about their interactions, and I know that there's a lot of folks out there with pit bulls, or that are advocating or that love pit bull type dogs, and they get very upset when they see that pit bulls have been shot by the police, um, or they feel like maybe the police could have done things a lot differently to subdue these animals, or just reacted differently. And I can absolutely understand why that would be, what a lot of folks would think, and then they get, really angry. And if you've tuned in before, if you tuned in last week, I think that you're really kind of getting an idea of the type of advocacy that we do, which is meeting people where they are with kindness and love and compassion, and in this case, with empathy. So what I want to share with you today real quick is a couple of years ago, I was doing some in-services for about 2,000 Milwaukee police officers over the course of 6 weeks. And I got to hear why they sometimes react the way that they react. And one of the stories that really jumps out in my head and that I just cannot forget absolutely is an officer that was going to a known drug house, and they were doing a search warrant with SWAT on this drug house. And when they were asking demanding that the person come out and that the person come out, what happened was one of the folks inside of the house came out holding a pit bull type dog, and they threw the pit bull at the officers and they ran. So if we could just kind of think about this for a moment, right? So yeah, I think that all of us that are tuned in, or all of us that are watching, for the most part, are probably really in love with these dogs, and probably just think, oh, well, I probably would have just hugged that dog and it would have been fine, and whatever. Okay, but this dog was at a drug house, and they're typically trained to protect the drugs. They're typically not well socialized, so that they are not very friendly with people. this is not the dog's fault in any way, shape, or form. However, this does not make for a dog, and it doesn't really matter, I guess, that it's a pit bull type dog, but that's what we're talking about at Pit Bull Advocates of America.
Right.
So could they have done this with a German Shepherd? Could they have done it with a Rottie? Could they have done it with a Bajan? You know, sure. But this is what, you know, this is what we do. This is why we do it, and this is what we're talking about. I personally, I can only speak for myself, I've had interactions with thousands of different pit bulls, and a lot of them from legitimate dog fighting backgrounds. And I can really honestly say that there are some dogs that are really hard to be around. They can be very unsafe to be around. They can be very scary, even for the most seasoned of animal trainers, behaviorists, advocates, rescue workers. And again, it's not their fault. That's not really the point. So if you were to have a pit bull from a drug house thrown at you, and you have split decisions as to what you're going to do in that situation, you know, when I feel like if you really, really put yourself into that situation, you can kind of think, wow, I might be in absolute fear for my life. I might be in fear for the lives behind me that I'm protecting, the people in the neighborhood, as this dog is now just going to charge out. We also never know in those types of situations where folks that are not treating their dogs well. We don't know what kind of drugs they've given to their dogs. We don't know what else they've done to change the demeanor of that dog. And at the end of the day, police officers have a responsibility to themselves, to their other officers, and to the community to keep it safe. That dog wasn't shot.
Scary though for the police
Oh
officer, nonetheless.
my gosh. And so that's the thing. Like, I can't imagine how scary that would be. And when I was with animal control, I was privileged enough to be able to go on some SWAT busts. And it was a very, very tense situation. And there was a ton of adrenaline in my own veins and in everybody else's that was there. And you don't know what all is inside of that house, and you don't know how many guns they have, and you don't know how willing they are to use them, and you don't know how many people are necessarily inside the house. So it can really be really be a scary thing. So I feel like if we're able to really start practicing our empathy and really start trying to tune in to how we can try to feel what these other people are feeling, we won't get so loose with our fingers on social media and so judgmental about I mean, very, very few times do I see, when I do see some of this stuff on social media, I don't get to see the side of the officer. They very rarely get to tell their side of the story. But the other thing that when Victoria and I were talking about this, that you had brought up, was when when all you get to see about anything is bad, you don't have a great image in your mind about that thing. Then, be it a spider, be it a needle, be it a pit bull type dog, be it a Ford. There are people out there that have always had bad experiences with Fords, and they're just like, I'm never driving a Ford ever again. Every single one I've ever had is broken. And then there's a million people out there driving Fords every day that have absolutely no, to really take the emotion out of it. But so that, I think, is really the basis of us trying to build a bridge, and close this gap between the police officers of the country and the people advocates of the country. It's really just like when we're walking down the street and we see a person, we really still have to think, like, I don't know what the kind of situations this person has been in. I don't know what types of, things they've done. Every single situation that they've had, was bad. When Victoria and I first met, she had a German Shepherd, and found out that I was terrified of German Shepherds. And everyone always thought it was really funny that I work with pit bulls all the time and that I was afraid of German Shepherds. But I had just had some mildly scary interactions with German Shepherds, and had kind of seen a side of them that I never had really seen. One that wanted to come up to me and just be like, hey, like how Gunner was.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to be able to calmly approach Gunner, even though you said over and over again, like, he's totally fine, he's going to be fine. I absolutely trusted you. I knew you well. I was getting to know you really well. So I feel like I feel like everybody probably has a story like this in their own life. Something that they're afraid of, something that they've tried to get over, something that that they can't really deal with. But they don't always equate that with pit bull advocacy or with their pit bull type dogs or their interactions with other people. So, if we can kind of tap into those areas of our own life where we're scared too, and why.
Right.
Because our relationship could have went really differently if I would have been like, man, you got a German Shepherd on and want to be friends with you. And I don't want him around here. Don't be bringing that dog around me. You wouldn't have probably been like, we probably wouldn't be sitting here, and you all would just be lacking, right?
Yeah. And even though I didn't understand her fear of German Shepherds, like, at all, like, she said she works with people, like, what, you're scared of German Shepherds, and Gunner, nonetheless. Right. But I understood that there was a real fear there, and that sometimes that takes time. Like, that doesn't necessarily change overnight. You have to build your bank of good, positive experiences. And that's not something that someone can do with a snap of the fingers. So when you think about it in terms of the experiences that some police have with these dogs, they're not all good dogs. Like, let's be honest and start there. Like, they're not all good dogs. So, like she said again, like, when you see it day after day after day after day, you're gonna have your own biases about it, good, bad, or indifferent. You just are.
Yeah.
So
we can really liken this to animal control officers too, actually, because I know that a lot of folks that I've talked to throughout the country have had issues with animal control officers that have been really negative, really pit bull heavy negative. And as a former animal control officer, and when you pick up hundreds and hundreds of them in a year, and they are acting out regardless of the reason, though, I mean, I would have to safely say that, really a slight majority of the dogs that I picked up while as a ACO, in that uniform, which was intimidating, in a situation where they were already scared. I can give a million excuses as to why these dogs would have acted the way that they did, really valid reasons in a lot of cases, but they were intimidating. They were intimidating, as were the chows and the Rottweilers, and a couple of Chihuahuas. I'll be honest, man, a couple of incredibly intimidating Chihuahuas that I had to try to.
that, for sure.
Yeah,
For
they
sure.
didn't want to go anywhere at all. They want to stay on the street, So, so I feel like that is really the place to start when we're thinking about our interactions with police and with pit bull type dogs. I think it's really more of a conversation, where if you're in a place and you're really having a hard time with your specific police, and you want to try and do something like get in and talk at their end services, or like create some sort of seminar or whatever, that would be something that you should just email me about personally, and we could talk and have a lengthy conversation about how that might happen, or if you even have an in with your local police station or whatnot, but need some content or some or some direction in what that would look like, I'm more than happy to absolutely talk about that with you and how we managed to do that. But that's just a lot to put out in something like this.
Yeah, there are several complex issues that need to be considered.
Oh, yeah.
And each city is different too. They have their own issues and their own stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you really need to get to know your police force and what their specific issues are. Our specific issue at the time here in Milwaukee was shooting dogs. That was our specific issue. And we needed to try and find some alternatives to doing that. But that isn't the issue in every jurisdiction, in every municipality across the country. That's certainly not the case. However, bad mouthing officers, it's not going to be an effective form of advocacy. I can guarantee that is going to be the truth. It's just never going to work. So, hi Angie and Tina, and Lynn, and Sarah. I'm sorry that it's echoing for you, Sarah. Hi Amy, Amy T and Amy W. So let us know if you have questions. I am excited that the last couple of weeks we've just had this brief amount of time to get to some people and really give them a better idea of what our advocacy is about.
Right.
So and in our podcast, I think that you're really going to have you're just really going to enjoy listening to us get deeper into the issues, because we'll be able to talk for longer with those, and I think that people will be able to, when they can just listen whenever they want, 1 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, whatever. So I think that is really going to be exciting and fun, and we're so excited to get that rolling for you all. So all of you that commented today are going to be in to win the t-shirts, and please don't forget about the raffle prizes.
Yep, that picture will go up as soon as we're done. We'll pop it online in the event.
And on the regular page, maybe.
Yeah.
So get outside, enjoy this beautiful day. There's some more rain that's coming.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like I think in the next few days. Well, it's spring, and it's making it so beautiful and green. So I know.
Sunday was rough. It was a lot of rain.
Yes, it was a flood here. But yeah. So thank you so much for your feedback, and we really appreciate your comments and your feedback. We're really happy to be able to do what we do. We're really blessed to be able to do what we do.
Thank you guys for tuning in and for your support and for buying raffle tickets. We really, really appreciate all of that. We literally would not be here without you.
Like really, right now.
Legit.
Yeah. Not a joke.
No.
Or just lip service.
Yeah, or something you say just because we think you want to hear it.
Yeah.
True.
Absolutely true. So, all right, everybody. Yeah. No breeds are perfect. Yeah. No breeds are perfect at all.
And there's a lot that goes into it. Socialization is a huge thing. You can have an under-socialized pit bull or an under-socialized chihuahua.
Yeah.
Or an under-socialized golden retriever.
Absolutely.
Stuff happens.
Yeah. Genetics goes into it too.
Genetics.
Overbreeding causes a lot of mutations and genetic problems. When things get overbred, they get a little kooky sometimes, no matter what they are.
Yeah.
It happened to labs in the late 70s and whatnot. So yeah. But all right, everybody, have a good day. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in again next week. Have your people watch it now that it'll be recorded and out there. So bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.